What I'd like to show you today is how to create a spreadsheet and a corresponding Google form to collect input from your students on websites that they're creating. There's no real easy way to do this other than doing a Doctopus or a Moodle or some other form which takes a little bit more input from the teacher. Using a spreadsheet, it's extremely easy, and I'll show you how that's done. The first thing that you're going to need to do, obviously, is going to create a spreadsheet. But with Google, it's really quite nice. They've made it so if you go to Google Drive and you create a form first, which I'll show you here once this pops up, I'm going to do New, More. I'm going to do a form. It will automatically create a spreadsheet for me, so I don't have to do that. A benefit to using a Google form is it's really easy for students to input their information. For example, on this form, I'll just give it a name. I'll call it student submission. Actually, this is going to be our first form, so I'll call it 1. Inside here, I'm just going to have 2 questions, name, and this is going to be a text answer. And then I'm going to add another item, and I'm going to want link. This will also be text. Done. Now that I have my first form completed, if I were to go and view a live form, this is what the students will see. You could post this anywhere on your Moodle, your Edmodo, Schoology. It doesn't really matter. You can put it up on the board, the direct link. If you had a shortened link like a bit.ly or a Google, I'm going to go ahead and put Mark. I'll put link. Let's go ahead and do let's put a link in here, an actual real link. I'll do submit. Now, when the students submit their submissions, what they're going to go see, if I go back to my drive, I go ahead back to my Google Drive and I start typing in the name of my form. It created a responses. Really what that is a spreadsheet of the information. And you'll notice there is my name, a timestamp, and the link. What's really nice about this is when students enter their information, if you click on the link as a teacher, it will open a new tab with whatever website the link went to. Now, what I'm going to want to do here, I actually don't want the spreadsheet to be called Student Submission 1. This is going to be for all the different submissions for all the different projects that I'm going to create. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 1. Student submissions, responses, hit OK. It still doesn't matter that of the name of the document because Google knows which form is linked to what spreadsheet. So for example, if I were to go back to my form, view live form, I'll do Mark 2. And once again, I'll just go ahead and put in a link. Doesn't really matter. Inside my spreadsheet, you'll notice it went ahead and put the second link in there. So it didn't matter what I called this actually. Now, form responses 1, if you notice down at the bottom, that's what this worksheet is called. I can go ahead and rename it anything I want. I can give it the title of the actual assignment, or you could just leave it with the default name that you have there. I typically try to give it a name that is meaningful. So I might want to rename it to test 1. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Now, the tricky part is if I want to create another form for another project. So let's say I create a test 2. So what I really want to do is go back to my drive. I'm going to go ahead and find the actual form that I had, the original one. Go ahead and close some of these here. And what I'm going to do is make a copy of this one. So I'm going to do File, make a copy. I'm going to give it a different name though. I'll call this Submission 2 Project. I'll hit OK. And now it's created a second one. I don't want to change anything in this form. I want to keep the name and I want to keep the link. I've already changed the title of it. The problem is if I were to go ahead and submit this, it would add the information directly back to the same sheet in my spreadsheet or workbook that I had, and I don't want that. I want to keep my responses separate depending on the actual project that the people have been working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Responses pull-down menu, and I'm going to do Change Response Destination. And I want to do a new sheet in an existing spreadsheet. And I'm going to do Choose. It's going to ask me which spreadsheet I want to put it in, and I'm going to call it Student Submissions Responses, which is the third one down listed. This one already contains the responses from the first project. This will be the responses from the second project, but it'll be a new sheet. Do Select. Then I can go to View Live Form. Now I'll do, once again, put my name. I'll call it 3, a link. Submit. Now, if I go back to the actual spreadsheet and I do a refresh on this one, you'll notice I now have a new tab at the bottom called Form Responses 2. And if I click on it, that will contain the new information for my new project. So I'm reusing the existing form, making it redirect back to the spreadsheet, so I only ever have to share one spreadsheet or look at one spreadsheet. One thing to remember when you copy a form is that you need to delete the responses from the previous time you collected data. To do that, just go to the Responses pull-down menu and delete all responses. That way, when it creates a new sheet in your workbook or spreadsheet collection, it won't copy over the responses from the previous project. Once I do that, it'll ask, are you sure? Okay. And now you'll notice the responses show 0. So that way it's a blank sheet ready to go to collect new information. It will not delete the information from the original form before you copied it. It will keep that information separate. Now, what I can do here is I'll rename this to Test 2. If I want, I can share this sheet with my students. And what that allows me to do is the students can come in here after if they want to check if their work has been marked or assessed. And what I can do is after I look at this one here, I can go ahead and I can color it, for example. So I can do, actually, the color is right here. I'm going to go ahead and do fill color, and I'll do green. That way, when the students come in and look under Test 2, they know, oh, this one's been done. What I tell students is if they want to reassess, or they want me to reassess it, they can redo their work. They can come in here, see that I've already done it. They can change it to a yellow after they've modified their assignment. When I come back and look at this later, if they tell me, I go, oh, Mark has resubmitted his work. I can go back and look at it again and reassess. It makes it really easy for the students, and it makes it really easy for me, the teacher, because I can just click down the column and open up a new tab for each student's website or exterior web resource and quickly mark their work and find it. It's a very simple way of doing this. You don't need to have any fancy scripts. Anyone can do it.